Martha's Vineyard cheered for the illegal immigrants as they shipped them out of their community to Cape Cod after 50 of them arrived from Florida. But why didn't celebrities like the Obamas open up their homes on Martha's Vineyard to house them? The former president and several other high-profile Democrats who own homes are remaining silent. Other residents were in a frenzy over the migrants' arrival last week, but didn't want to house them.
Are you worried that people say, hey, they sent these people to Martha's Vineyard and Martha's Vineyard got rid of them?
No, we didn't get rid of them. We took care of them.
Okay.
You know, I think getting rid of them is a little harsh.
You know, this is not like the best place for them to start fresh because there's no place to live here. There's housing is bad and
there's more vacation homes here than anywhere in America. 55% of the homes here are vacation homes.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And while the Democrat mayor from El Paso continues to send migrant buses to New York and doesn't get criticized, the Democrat mayor from New York City is slamming Governors Abbott and DeSantis for not coordinating with him, even though he turned down invitations to go see the conditions at the border for himself.
It is time for us to coordinate. I believe it's a crisis that needs more coordination from our country. This is one country. They refuse to do any form of coordination. We should do it in a coordinated method. Coordination during a crisis is something that we must do together, and that's the federal government. That is also the governor of the state of Texas, as well as the governor of the state of Florida. We should not be really treating other cities and municipalities in the manner that we're witnessing now.
Well, I think one of the most impressive things in that interview is how many times he said coordinated.
Yeah.
But, Anita, I want to start with you. First of all, I think Michael Goodwin's put it very well in the New York Post recently. He essentially said they're calling out the Democrats' hypocrisy. And what he said was, in quote, by transporting migrants, GOP governors are exposing Democrats' hypocrisy. That's the title. The Dems running with New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and yes, Martha's Vineyards are being hoisted on their own petard. They supported virtually unfettered immigration, but didn't bargain on thousands of the world's unwashed popping up in their neighborhoods. Their hypocrisy is the thing to behold, and the GOP governors deserve an award for delivering a comeuppance for the ages. Now, it is interesting, Anita, because if you go back to about 2016, former President Obama, who has a very lovely vacation home in Martha's Vineyard, this is what he had to say about immigration. Take a listen.
America is a nation of immigrants. That's our strength. And the notion that somehow we would stop now on what has been a tradition of attracting talent and strivers and dreamers from all around the world, that would rob us of the thing that is most special about America.
So immigration and immigrants are very special to America. And President Obama likes to tweet about a lot of things that he finds important. He tweets about the Inflation Reduction Act, about overturning of Roe. He tweeted about the Queen's death. But we have heard nothing on immigration, especially as these migrants have gone to where he has a vacation home. Why not?
Yeah, that's a really good question. He does love to talk about immigration. And Jason and I were talking earlier about how this free flow of immigrants across the border started during his administration. But the interesting thing about Martha's Vineyard is, of all the celebrities that have homes there, and we showed them on the screen, his is particularly interesting. He has a $12 million sprawling estate. And remember, just last year, he had a huge birthday bash for himself. Remember when he turned 60? And he had so many guests, and this was sort of during COVID, that he had to scale back the number of guests because he was getting criticized for having too many. So it's interesting. There was one person who spoke to the Daily Mail who lives on Martha's Vineyard, and she told the paper that she felt that Obama should open up his home to some of these immigrants. She pointed out, though, when she went to visit his house, this is what she saw. She said there were signs that said private property, no trespassing, do not come in, and the police are patrolling. So I guess the immigrants didn't feel too welcome over there.
I mean, I'm sure he has like one or two guest rooms in that house.
What about his front lawn?
They can put up a 10, I guess, right, Tyrus? So, Tyrus, Mayor Oscar Leeser, he's a Democratic mayor of El Paso, Texas, is talking about sending migrants to New York. Take a listen to what he had to say.
The people are not coming to El Paso, they're coming to America. And that's something that's really important. We have about 50% of the people today that do not have a sponsor, they don't have money, so we're helping and working to get them to where they want to go.
So, Tyrus, you have the mayor saying we're going to ship the people to New York City. That's where they want to go. You have Mayor Adams of New York City saying, let's coordinate, let them come here. But, Tyrus, one thing is the homelessness crisis of New York City has reached an all-time high, one that hasn't been seen since the Great Depression of the 1930s. Just this summer, you had about 52,000 homeless people in New York City alone, 17,000 of them children. Don't you think Mayor Adams should focus on the people who elected him to represent him instead of focusing on some of these more political moves?
No, because it's a lot easier to fight the invisible monster. And I think in defense of the celebrities at Martha's Vineyard, they were staffed up already. So it's the off season. So they were already staffed. So of course, they didn't have any room for any other. And I'd just like to say to the lady who was saying there was no place for them to live, she was literally standing in front of 6 tents. There was 6 tents and hotels all on that street where she was selling goods to tourists. So just want to put it out there. But yeah, of course, he should be doing something. But when I'm learning the more and more I'm on TV, the more I study politics, all you really have to do is say something 3 times. And then it doesn't matter what the question is. So, like, coordinate. You want to coordinate. Because when I think coordinate, I'm talking about like the inside. But see how I coordinated that with this, with the that's coordination. You know what I'm saying? That's how you coordinate. Well. I'm coordinated. So I think he meant the same thing. Like, we all need to coordinate. Whom? You won't go coordinate a trip to Texas to see what they're talking about. You won't coordinate anything for the homeless people. So I don't think he understands what the word coordinate means, other than because everyone knows he's a sharp dresser because all those events he likes to go to, the brother's always coordinated.
Yeah. Well, Tyrus, but one thing, though, you don't hear anybody criticizing the Democratic El Paso mayor for sending migrants out. Is it because he's a Democratic mayor? Because for some reason, the Republican governors or mayors are getting highly criticized because of it.
Well, it's because he's coordinating. And see, when you coordinate, there's no reason to be aggressive, unlike the Republicans who are not coordinating. See, he's coordinated, and he started his sentence with, I'm a Democrat. So therefore, it's fine. What he's doing is fine. Again, I feel like I just said this yesterday. Who started the busing and flying party? Biden's administration did. So when their own do it, it's coordination. And when we do it, it's racist.
Tyrus's teaching roots are coming out. He's schooling all of us here right now. Thank you for that.
I'm coordinating some knowledge right now.
So Jason, I want to come to you. Right now, about half of the migrants that are coming over illegally are being shipped back under Title 42. However, Title 42 can end at any point right now because that was implemented under the Trump administration because of the COVID pandemic emergency. At any point, the CDC can pull back that state of emergency and Title 42 can be gone and they're no longer able to send back half of those migrants. What is something Congress can do? Can they do anything to fix this?
Congress can do a lot of things. They can start by holding a hearing. Jerry Nadler is the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, where Immigration Subcommittee is. Why not hold the hearing? I mean, this is obviously a big issue. No hearings that are there. Democrats say, oh, they just need to, pass comprehensive immigration reform. Well, the Democrats have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, for goodness sake. But if you hear and listen to Kamala Harris, she says the border's secure. So if the border's secure, why do we have so many illegal immigrants coming into this country? And shame on President Obama, who goes out there and says, oh, we're going to shut off immigration. Nobody, Republicans, Democrats, nobody has ever suggested we cut off immigration. What we've said is cut off illegal immigration. Come through the front door. Do it legally and lawfully. And how about the people that are trying to do it legally and lawfully? Those people get screwed in this process. We bring about 1 million people a year, legally and lawfully, into the United States. He knows better than to suggest that Republicans want to get rid of immigration. We want to get rid of illegal immigration, all the drugs that are flowing, all the human trafficking that's going on, the abuse of these people. And to suggest that going to Martha's Vineyard is like abuse and human trafficking and that they should be suing these governors? Come on, Gavin Newsom, you know better as well. They're involved in this rhetoric, and if it's an issue, have a hearing.
Well, President...
Introduce a bill. Democrats have never introduced, since I joined Congress in 2008, they've never rallied behind one bill that says this is what we stand for. Do that before the election. I dare you, because America's not behind where they are on immigration.
It's just a lack of coordination is what it is, what it breaks
Well,
down.
I think what it comes down to, President Obama was correct that America is made up of immigrants, but it needs to be legal immigration and not illegal immigration. And that is something that is going to be on the ballot for midterms coming up. So your vote counts.
Yes.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.